What's going on, guys? Austin here. I've got Angel with me. Um, so I've been trying to um, be silent in with Joe Biden being in office, for the past, but with him being in office for only 10 days, and there's a few things that have caught my attention. I cannot help but say anything. Now, before anything, before anything, I am no psychologist. I am no politician. This is just me being like any other American and speaking my opinion. So, first thing that caught my attention is that Joe Biden has made the United States military accept anyone that is identified as a transgender. And most people that are identified as a transgender is experience gender dysphoria, which is considered a psychological disorder. A psychological disorder um, is basically does not give you a chance in the military. Um, that includes with depression and anxiety. Um,
Mm.
and truthfully, I don't. And not to mention, now Trump, I know he banned it when he was in office, and that was the reasoning why. And that information where uh, gender dysphoria or dysphoria is considered a psychological disorder, that is coming from the American Nursing Association.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's also just not good for people that are transgender to join because they're already dealing with the fact that they want to change genders and all this stuff, and the military is a force, a fighting force of no matter what branch you join to at a moment's notice get sent overseas to fight, and then somebody already has a mental disorder before they join the military. It's just not going to work out. In the military, I'm not saying that people are anywhere you go, rather in the military or not, there are people that are going to be mean. There are people who are going to be really jerks to you, and people already have that. And then they go in the military, they go in a very very stressful environment, boot camp. You know how what RDCs or drill instructors or drill sergeants do, and then they go to the fleet and deal with the real stuff. Suicide rates might as well just end up going higher because people can't deal with it, and then people say why is it going higher, and because you have people who are already mentally unstable joining the military, and then it's a bad concoction ready to happen, bad
And
to happen.
and that's not just going for transgenders. I mean, they're high enough as it is, as civilians. But but this is military personnel in general. Um, we've had pretty high suicide rates.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. And even if you weren't transgender, if you came up to a recruiter and say I want to join the military, but I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, they'll be like, well, you already had precondition, we can't take a risk. Or if you have something physically or mentally wrong with you, it could disqualify you from the military, and that's why they need people that are 100% ready to go to boot camp. Not like that same day, but at least be able to fight for your country. And if, let's say, in during your contract in the military, something does happen, the military will cover for it. But if it's before the military, it's really hard for people to get in. And a lot of people want to go by feelings, like, oh, we should just let people in. And I'm just like, look, I understand everybody has their feelings and everybody has their opinions, but at the end of the day, it's about protecting the country. And it's hard to protect the country if you are allowing people who are not physically or mentally ready or capable of doing the job.
Exactly. And I gotta be honest with you guys. I I've been um, I've been through boot camp. In fact, on the 23rd marked a whole year of me being in the military.
Same here.
Wait,
Oh, I said same here, but well, almost 2 years for me.
yeah. So, um, the military in general, I first thought that boot camp was going to be the most stressful, but truthfully, it doesn't matter if it's boot camp or wherever you go. The military in general is a stressful environment. And this is coming from us as United States sailors.
Yeah.
So it's a hot mess. It really is. Next up, we got he was wanting to free illegal immigrants. Now, I get it. There are those that want to permanently move into this country, and because they were not happy um, in the country they're originally from, and they're not happy. But here's the thing: this is how can I put this? Every person that comes or that wants to permanently move into this country has to go through the citizenship test. And you want to know something real sad? There are people that are born and raised into this country. You give them a question that's on a citizenship test, they don't even know the answer. They can even if they do have the answer, it takes forever for them to find out. But yet you have a pretty good amount of people that are not even from this country, and they've taken the citizenship test and they can give you an answer like that. And and I get and I and you can call me a racist all you want, but if you want to come into this country, you have to know your stuff. Um, like when this country was born, how many stars are on the flag? It's and I hate to say it, but I guarantee and desperate or not to come into America, you have to be like anybody else. I mean, Angel could even tell you.
Uh, so my mom is Jamaican, right? So I'm part Jamaican. My mom moved to America in about the late '80s, early '90s, I would say. Actually, probably around the '80s, and she had to leave my sister behind, and she moved to Florida, and worked her tail off, tried to get a job, and tried to actually work for a citizenship. She didn't come here illegally. She did everything she could, and obviously back then it's a little bit easier, but she still did it the right way and ended up getting her citizenship. Not in Florida, but up in Massachusetts. She later got her citizenship around the time I was born, and it kind of makes me upset when President Biden wants to do stuff where it's like everybody just comes in, and I'm like, so all those people, not just my mom, but my sister who had to come here, like everybody that I know, family wise or friend wise, who were born in a different country and then come to America and have to work hard and bust their butt to become citizens, and you just allow all these people to come in. That person with a criminal record of murder of like 13 people should be just allowed in America, and this really makes me upset. And not just that, it's like got the wall that former president wanted to build, and then Biden was like, "I'm going to stop the wall now," and I'm just like, "You gotta be kidding me, man." And look, I respect immigrants because obviously my mom's an immigrant. My mom's side are immigrants. They're from Jamaica. I understand that, but when you're doing stuff that is illegal, like just stuff like that, it just kind of taints the um whole system of immigrants who come here legally and do the right things.
Exactly. And that's and that's the sad thing too. You find people that actually want to come into America and start a new, better life, and but then you find those few, very few, that come into this country and do have a criminal background and they pretty much, rather if they want to start fresh or they're continuing their crimes in America, that's that's gives a bad example.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, this is the one that is really got my attention, and I've honestly got to say, I had a feeling that if Joe Biden was officially going to be president, people are gonna learn the hard way. Um, so if you're not on TikTok or you haven't looked on Instagram, there are actually people that have pointed out that there are those that voted for Biden, supported Biden for since the very beginning, and they absolutely regret voting for him. I've got a few tweets in there, and for anyone that put out these tweets, if you're dealing with a lot of shit back home or wherever you are, I am very sorry.
Yeah.
Huh? Would you like to read them off?
Yeah, I'll read some of them off. So one of them, this one that just kind of sticks out. I took screenshots because the big corporate medias would like to erase these. So one of them says, every day since election day, I regret voting for Biden more and more. Like, I generally feel sick to my stomach about it. The more and more I learn about politics and the way this country works, the more I wish I hadn't voted at all. Another one says, well then, I'll have you know that I deeply regret voting for Biden now. And there is so much more. And then one person says, I am a Democrat, and I regret voting for Joe Biden, so do all of my friends.
See, and that's the part that, and I know I said in my video that titled, "This is about us, the people," that we have different political views, um, and we all have different lifestyles, so on and so forth. Like the person for their personality, not what they're interested in. But this definitely shows you that not only this, how can I put this? This shows that people um, that yes, we're good people, but yes, we look for the truth. You can go ahead and think I'm just doing this video to piss a bunch of people off. That's on for anyone that is getting pissed off by this video because I'm speaking the truth. That's on you. So I guarantee you, I put $50. I guarantee you, by the end of the first 6 months Joe Biden's in office, the Democrats, the politicians in general, and all those that supported Joe Biden, in the great words of Bradley Cooper in The Hangover, hey, we fucked up.
Wow.
So, look, I know we have different views. We all speak different. We all have different logics. But try to learn to hear other people out. Don't just hear one side and think, oh, I like hearing this. This must be the truth.
We all know how that works out.
Exactly. And not to mention this 10 days into it, excuse me, and there's a clip of Joe Biden going on the first executive order, and you'll have to listen to it very carefully, but he says in there, I don't know what I'm signing. And as he's pulling a pen and signs it anyway. And you know why the politicians most politicians wanted Donald Trump out of office so badly because he wasn't a puppet. He wasn't going to go through the bull, not bullshit on how they run things. He actually wanted to do good. And these politicians, most politicians, don't even, like I said before, they don't care about us, the people. They care about all these other politicians' interests.
Making money, helping China.
Yeah.
All right, let me stop right here.
Especially those that are definitely about them. But besides what I just said there, is there anything else you'd like to say, Joel?
Well, pretty much that's just that. You know, he's made a lot of enemies since he got into office. He actually pissed off a lot of Native Americans because of what stuff that he done behind their backs. He has pissed off African American communities, have done nothing for the African American communities. Already doing stuff that is just making you go, what? And honestly, this is something that majority of the world knew was going to happen, and some people didn't listen, and it just shows you, if this doesn't show how much that the majority of the politicians or the government does not care for you, then I don't know what will. Because there is a quote that Ronald Reagan had says, the scariest words
Put
together basically is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That is the scariest words. And everybody keeps relying on the government, saying, oh, I need government to help me. Look, government's not going to help you with every little thing. You got to go and learn how to do things yourself. You got to learn to be a tough adult and do the right thing, and just do what you have to do to survive. But at the same time, don't blame the government when stuff don't work your way.
Exactly. And why else do you think I said that that we have to work together no matter what your interests, your lifestyle, what your political views are? Because the government at this point, it's safe to say they don't give a shit about us. They really don't. And heck, and you know what's crazy is that even Putin is not wanting to do business with Joe Biden. How crazy is that?
It is kind of crazy. It just shows, yeah. It just shows you how greedy these politicians are. They're willing to weaken the military, weaken the economy, and stabbing, people, everybody in the back, just so they can become more rich. And I'm just gonna throw out there, if you ever looked at the inauguration, I didn't see it because I was working, and but during the inauguration, all the people that you don't really hear from much showed up. The Clintons showed up. The Obama showed up. And it's clear as day what it is. So at the end of the day, yes, we are entitled to our opinions. You're entitled to your opinions, but even those who are Democrats or Republicans need to kind of wake up and smell the roses, because if you guys don't, if y'all don't, you guys are gonna realize how crappy the government is. And the founding fathers warned us. Why do you think we have the Second Amendment? And for those who say the Second Amendment is just for hunting, do your research. It's way more than just hunting. All right. Second Amendment is for big government like people like Joe Biden who threaten to take away weapons or defund the police because they're trying to do that. And that's that time when people need to start being prepared because crime's gonna go rapid. Police is not gonna be able to do the job as efficiently as they used to be able to do, and the government's gonna try to take guns away. So you might want to start being ready for that. I'm not saying there's a war coming. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but just never know what can happen out in the streets.
Exactly. And it even breaks my heart that even whenever Antifa and BLM, mostly Antifa, when they found out they were getting screwed over, they think violence was the answer.
Yeah, if you didn't know, and not a lot of news reporters, except for Fox News reported on it, no CNN, no NBC, MSNBC, no ABC. When Joe Biden became president, in Portland, they were saying, "We don't want Joe Biden. We don't want anybody like this," and they were rioting, literally, not protesting, rioting, burning buildings down, flipping cars, the whole same crap that Antifa does every single time, and BLM. And it just comes to show you, like, even Antifa don't want him.
I want you guys to take this in for a minute. I am a white man. She is a black woman. And coming from a black woman, she's speaking the truth and is a Trump supporter at that. We are both Trump supporters, or at least were until he got out of office. And I hear all the rumors talking about, oh, he might come back in 2024. If that's the case, I'll be waiting for that to happen. But first, let me check. But first, let me do something real quick. And we're back.
So cheesy.
So look, a lot of people, the stuff I've been saying, stuff a lot of other people have been saying, like Adam Calhoun, people have reacted to Adam Calhoun, and many other people, many other conservative people. The only thing that is stopping you from doing you is yourself. Do not think the government is slowing you down, because at some point they're not going to give two shits about us, and at that point they're not even going to care what we're doing.
Yeah. And before anybody goes out and they say, well, you guys in the military, you can't speak. Technically, yes, you can. If you actually look at the military rules, for us, we can speak our own opinions. As long as we separate the uniform from our opinions. Just because we're in the military, that doesn't mean we can't speak our opinions. We can speak our opinions. We just have to we kind of tread on water with certain things, so we can speak out a little bit.
And like I said in my video, I do have respect for the entitlement of President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief, but I still am entitled to my opinion of who is running an office.
Yeah, and that same thing when Trump was in office. I knew some people that did not like Trump in office. However, they respected the fact that he was Commander-in-Chief, and that's how it is. And life in general, not just in the military, is yes, you may hate that person, but you gotta realize, well, that person is in charge. Exactly. So yeah.
And in fact, when I was getting shipped off for boot camp, one guy bigger than I was, he said to me, I honestly don't like Trump, but me becoming military personnel or becoming a United States sailor, I have to show some form of respect. And I'm going to be the same way with Joe Biden. I don't like the guy. I really don't. What he's trying to do for America, it's not good. And the fact that he's trying to speak for me, no, you don't speak for me ever.
Yeah. And I was going to say before he went to go get his hat, with me, people look at me. A lot of my friends or anybody in general look at me like, "Oh, you're Uncle Tom. You're a sheep because you're a black girl, woman speaking on your opinion." I'm like, I can say whatever I want, and if you do not like it, I honestly don't care.
Exactly. And what's funny is I'm from Alabama. Um, Before I joined the military, I came from Alabama, and I did have a few friends that did not like Joe Biden, or bleh, my bad, that did not like Donald Trump, and I was able to have a civil conversation with them, and they still found me a cool person.
I mean, if the whole world was like that, then that would be an awesome time. But you got the crazy people out there that you say something they don't like, they get triggered, and which is also the reason why now I'm not saying we're in fear, but why us military members have to be careful where we go because there are people out there they find you military, they just want to start a problem with you.
And sadly, it doesn't necessarily have to be politics. That's just, or has to, it's not necessarily having to do with political views. It's just how people are in general.
So, but yeah, you want to end the video?
Yeah. Alright, guys, well, that's the end of this video. I hope this can help you guys understand that I'm not trying to be a troublemaker. She's not trying to be a troublemaker.
Nah.
Just speaking our opinions, people that love this country, and we're not, we just want things to look good, look better. I know they look bad now, but eventually they will get better. I know you've heard that said by a lot of people, but I it's just that feeling.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys are doing better this year and don't give up. Oh, and by the way, for any of those that have a big old problem with me speaking the truth and speaking my opinion in politics, let me give you a
No, don't do it. Don't
big
do it.
old
Don't do it. Don't do it.
knuckle sandwich.